Hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello, hello. We have a new chapter of One Punch Man. This one is called Invasive Touch, which is a really creepy title. I think it must be referring to the way that Orochi, now reduced to this kind of amorphous blob, has been going inside of other monsters, sucking out their life force and blood, and using that to power himself up and transform. Most recently, combining quite dramatically with Psychos. Unclear if Psychos 2 will be absorbed into some sort of super Orochi. I kind of doubt it. My thinking is that it's going to be more, we get a new transformed Psychos with even more draconic themes and stuff. Mostly because there's a lot of stuff that she does in the webcomics still, a lot of like backstory and more confrontation with Tatsumaki, that I think it makes more sense if she's the one that lives through this combining. Anyways, the union of deeply rooted malice and psychic powers, the greatest evil has borne fruit. Yes, I think we're gonna see transformed Psychos. I guess the other thing is that we never really got the full Orochi backstory. We know that Psychos like recruited him when he was just a human and transformed him into the king of all monsters. But we don't really know what about his human qualities made him so disposed to that, made him so gave him so much potential or whatever. So I don't know if that's ever going to be explored or if it's going to, like, they're going to kind of deliberately move past it with a mindset of like, it could have been anyone. That Psychos's influence is so great that even just some random human can be developed to this state. I don't know. So we see the Orochi goop surging all over the place. This looks like the lab. Way down, like over a kilometer beneath the rest of the Monster Association headquarters, where we saw Psychos just like chilling. Because there was those big monsters in tanks that look like they're here. But there could be other places in the Monster Association hideout that has these big tanks, I suppose. This is quite disturbing. Is this the new form of Psychos? Or is this some other booby lady? I don't know, but I'm getting big Akira vibes. I love little details like the couch being turned over. It serves a good size reference. Like, we know that Psychos was on that couch before. So we can see that things haven't just gotten weird, they've gotten big and weird. This is something that a lot of fantasy artists have their own sort of systems. Magic the Gathering always has scale birds, that whenever there's like a big creature they're depicting, they want to show that it's big. So they draw some normal-sized little birds just as tiny little details so that you know it's a big boy. Tatsumaki dealing with all of these dragon turrets, tons and tons of minor monsters draconified, blasting out beams. Oh, this is cool. She bends them all together. Some of the dragons seem shocked. And then, wow, this is the Tornado of Terror, her ultimate technique. Everything just spinning and swirling together and then exploding. I just love this like honeycomb structure of the Monster Association headquarters. And there was a comment about how the mining facilities and stuff really make it clear why the Monster Association was headquartered where it was. And there the theory was that none of this was actually built by the Monster Association, or very little of it, but that this was all remnants of some ancient civilization or something, which is quite intriguing. I think that makes like more sense insofar as it doesn't seem in the capability of the Monster Association to have done all of this meticulous manual effort in the time that they've been around. But it opens up other big questions, of course, like, you know, who was it that actually built this? Are we ever going to see them? Are they super powerful? Are they just extremely wise? I don't know. But yeah, it serves really well for these sorts of scenes, to just show the scale of things, the destructive magnitude. SFX and bubbles is just Orochi spreading. Really hard to translate. Yeah, that's more than fair. It's relentless is the sticky stuff of Monster Cadre. So she's really appreciating the extent of Orochi's absorption and stuff. Assuming that it must be some sort of Monster Cadre, one of their big guys. Don't know how deep this goes, although I want to turn the whole hideout upside down. Yo! This is, of course, something that happens in the webcomic that I've really been looking forward to seeing Murata's rendition of. But I feel like there's some other stuff that has to happen before that. So maybe she's going to get sidetracked or delayed. And something crazy happening here, a Tatsumaki flashback. Now this is something else that happened in the webcomic, but not until this entire Monster Association arc was totally over. And in the webcomic, this tiny little flashback of Tatsumaki just reflecting on her kind of origins as a hero contained something incredibly hype. And I don't know if that's going to show up here as well, but so yeah, she's hesitating doing the flip because of the kid. That makes sense. She knows all the heroes would be able to survive. Or she doesn't care. But rescuing the kid is the top priority. So it looks like we're just foreshadowing the flashback. Ooh. Here we see Psychos in some real erotic Akira type play. Hand your flesh over to me. Ooh, so this is quite interesting. At first she's like, yes, I'm going to use Orochi to power up. She was looking for that route, which as well as I was also anticipating that. But then she's shocked. She can't control him anymore. And she says, since when did you possess such power? Now, I had always assumed that Orochi was actually probably significantly stronger than Psychos. That's just the sense I got from, like, comparing the things we saw Orochi do to the power level of Psychos in the webcomic. But actually, in the webcomic, it's like kind of ambiguous just how strong Psychos is. And it's also still quite ambiguous how strong Orochi is. Like, we never saw Orochi versus Tatsumaki in Orochi's prime or whatever. So I guess Psychos probably privately assumed that if things ever got to this point, she would be able to control Orochi. She would still be capable of, like, subjugating him. But not anymore? Been hiding it all this time. It's starting to corrupt my mind. You've been tirelessly feeding me live sacrifices to promote my growth until now. Thank you, Psychos. Wow. Next, it's your turn. Oh my gosh, this is getting horrific. Yeah. So this idea that he's been hiding it this whole time is quite interesting. And you gotta remember, Orochi was originally just a human. So more and more I'm thinking, like, they can't get away with not at least giving us a few more clues as to what the heck is up with this human in the first place. Okay. Psychos strikes back. You're nothing more than a vessel to amplify my powers. I am the master. This one's interesting. I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out anymore. No, I'm still on Team Psychos transformation. You know, putting aside, like, the other developments in the webcomic or the potential developments with Orochi's backstory, it's just because Murata wants to draw more Psychos. I'm pretty confident in that, so I think that's the direction it's going to be going. Okay. Tatsumaki looking down. A blast of light. Wow! Okay, wow. So there is indeed a new Psychos form, and it's pretty badass and draconic. But the erotic qualities significantly downplayed. I am surprised. I am genuinely surprised that they went with something so inhuman. A pretty freaky design, though. I like the idea of, like, you start with well, first off, that we built up to the hype of, like, a very kind of traditional dragon type image, which to me is pretty cool. that they had kind of reserved that to this point. Someone had made a comment about how, in what context was this? But there was like a panel showing like a dragon. And I was like, what? What's up with this dragon? And someone pointed out that that was a anime-only character that now is canonized in the remake webcomic as well. So I was like, oh, okay. But aside from that, which was at first anime original, they really have been very judicious about kind of teasing out this dragon element, despite having threat level dragon the entire time. I really like that dynamic. I think that's like super hype. And of course, with later events, we can talk about threat level God and like a similar kind of very judicious doling out of God-related imagery. But at any rate, so we finally got our big dragon, Orochi, who's like the dragon of all dragons, the dragon, to make another magic reference. And you know, everything is made out of dragons, shooting dragons out of his arms and stuff. It was friggin' cool. And now to kind of transcend that, and we have this like dragon-inspired but so like mutant, kind of insectile, a little more human too in this kind of like upright appearance and kind of like a more flattened human-like face. So it kind of feels like an evolved dragon, but one that's not just like going further in the dragon direction, but going in like a really weird, crazy direction, looking kind of like a next level Yu-Gi-Oh monster or something. I like that. I like that. That it went into the known era, into the era of evoking, you know, visual tropes and stuff, and then surpassed it. It went beyond the comprehensible. That sort of thing is super hype to me. You went all that to reveal your actual body in order to make the fight easier for me. That's kind of you. Okay, so Psychos is still like in there, controlling Orochi's body. This I can win against Tatsumaki. Oh, she's like all over the place. So here we're getting the more human transformation. Having your cake and eating it too, so to speak. The Baldy who tore me to pieces is next. We'll find him and turn him into a live sacrifice for my resurrection. So both Orochi and Psycho speaking through there, because Psycho has no idea who Saitama is, has never encountered him. But Orochi, of course, is super, super pissed at Saitama, who wouldn't even sit through his little introductory speech before he got one-punched. Another barrage of dragon lasers. Dragon lasers. Oh, I love this series. Tatsumaki doing a cool attack here. I don't know what's up with this. I don't know. Does that help? Something. Big energy blast. But the Orochi Psychos fusion has a strong barrier up as well. This bottom shot here is like crazy. I guess that's a bottom-up perspective. And just seeing the webbing of Orochi still like absorbing monsters, connecting even more into this network of life force, pretty thrilling. And Tatsumaki shocked. Her attack ineffective. It's really hard. And then these spears, looking like the Lance of Longinus, sort of, from Evangelion. Something about the slight twistedness of it. The fact that it seems like psychotically formed, if you kind of know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It conveys like a real intense energy. And yet such a simple weapon, you know? Okay, trying to pull Tatsumaki down. Huge shot of like the chibi Tatsumaki. Still think such gravity manipulation would have any effect on me. Ooh, but and this is really intriguing to me. That look at the speed lines depicting, you know, first the attack like zooming in on Tatsumaki, then Tatsumaki being pushed down, the energy waves going totally vertical, and then something happens, and the first like signal we get of it, besides Tatsumaki's reaction, is that in the background, where there once was all these parallel like speed line effects, now there's this crazy wavy marbling, And again, the webcomic gets into this quite in depth, like the way that psychic energy works, the kind of wave interferences of psychic energy. And I think we're kind of getting our first hints that something is not quite. Whoa! Whoa, we're going full Evangelion. Dude, this actually just looks like a scene from End of Evangelion. Like, so similar. The spears, the big naked lady, the gently holding an orb. Oh, jeez. Oh, Tatsumaki, you're gonna get tanged. If you keep this up, you're gonna get tanged. Oh, this is crazy. This is something that this series always blows me away, is like the rapid fire like form spam that it's like some of the most hyped things in shonen are like the big transformation, and that the battles are like punctuated by these moments of intense hype, like, did you think that was my final form? And then so we have like a kind of a pacing in mind, and then One Punch Man just mashes the dopamine button with like Psychos is transformed like 3 times this chapter. Even on this page, there's like 2 kind of different forms of her. Like, we're seeing this kind of like consolidation of her human self. It's just unreal. I felt the same way during like the Phoenix Man fight, where both Child Emperor and Phoenix Man were just like spamming forms and transformations at each other. It requires such a creative mind and such an amazing artist to make all of these hit the way they want them to. I swapped the inside of your barrier with the outside. Whoa, that's what's happening here. I was gonna say, yeah, the sphere is looking super marbled. Tatsumaki's suddenly in like a world of hurt. Her veins popping everywhere. Can't disable it. Come on and disable the barrier already. Otherwise, your ridiculous output together with the power I'm injecting will keep increasing the internal pressure. If you manage to disable it, you'll just get flattened in an instant. Oh my gosh. Wow, Tatsumaki's getting wrecked. Oh. Don't worry, your flesh and blood won't go to waste. Jeez. This is feeling kind of Evangelion-y, right? Like, just the incomprehensibility of the force attacking. I'm getting vibes of that angel that Asuka fought, that sent down the beam that played Beethoven and made her remember her childhood. The most effective attack of all time. Also seen in Clockwork Orange, sort of. Oh my god, though, Tatsumaki. Just this kind of reaction of, there's no actual physical attack, but your eyes burst with blood. Blood bursts out of your mouth. Blood from your hairline, blood out of your ears. It's such a terrifying idea. Trying to imagine what that would think of. And now this is happening too. Saitama and Flashy Flash running away from the wave of Orochi's Akirification. Oh, they're saving their little tour guide. Nice. It's also attacking monsters. This lump of meat isn't an ally to the Monster Association. I suppose that's kind of true. It's like kind of transcending friend and foe now. Saitama got grabbed. What would happen? Like, it wouldn't work. I wonder, if Saitama just punches part of this, will it be like the Elder Centipede and the shockwave of his attack will follow all the way along the sludge, all the way out into that chasm, all the way up into the Psychos Orochi body, and right as Tatsumaki's at the point of absolute mental torture, the whole thing just pops. But no, they still have to do like the Psycho's backstory and stuff. Like, I don't... Nothing's gonna get off easy. But I love that idea. I think that would be so funny. It slips off because he's bald. That's so silly. Okay, he does punch it. What kind of effect will this have? Because Saitama's punch is often destroying on like the entity level. It doesn't follow like physical reality. It seems to be like a conceptually destroying punch. Massive earthquake reverberating through all the floors. No, the elevator. Oh, that's kind of cute. Like the way we learned how the elevator works with like the filling up of the water, such that it counterweights it, and then the water spills out. You know, it's cute. And now that seemingly inconsequential environmental detail is going to come into play as the bucket gets weighed down even more, and presumably the elevator will shoot up. So this again is putting another piece in place for the final confrontation we know about the webcomic, because they need to get that kid out of there for Tatsumaki to do the flip. And I sure hope she does the flip. I really do want to see that. And we know that King makes it to the surface for the final battle as well. So yeah, I just love it. They're having their little adventure here. Yeah, it goes rocketing upwards. Just dodging a wave of Orochi. Meanwhile, it's not to the extent that I first predicted, but Psychos is affected by the punch. It did reverberate all the way into her main body. And that, for a second, lets up on the torturous barrier. Tatsumaki is freed. A large number of Sais just died in an instant. What happened? What was that slippery feeling just now? Ooh. So not just the reverberation of the attack, but they actually felt the moment that whoosh, that the slime slipped off because Saitama's head is just too bald and smooth. Oh man, that's kind of interesting because it means that like literally everything else they touched was just insta-absorbed. So this is yet another unique, powerful quality of Saitama. And King, you know, shooting up to the surface like this, because again of Saitama's attack, now actually rescues the kid. Kid's under my protection, we're moving towards the surface. Tatsumaki probably so relieved, thinking, what the hell took so long? But the fact that it's King, she's going to be like, only King is competent. Only King has his head together. Sasuga King, as expected from King. I love it when I scroll down and it's exactly what I expected. Sasuga, Murata, and 1. I wish I could like indicate when I'm scrolling too. Maybe that's something I should add to my layout so you can tell what part of the page I'm looking at too. Tatsumaki fires back. Is it the flip? Are we actually getting the flip in this chapter as well? It seems kind of irresponsible because King just said we're heading towards the surface. We're not on the surface. We're not safe. Ah, that's it. Okay. Murata's comments on current Garo's color scheme for any artist wondering. Ah. Neat. It's neat that there's that sort of communication. Okay, really good chapter. The next one, we're gonna get the flip. Oh, I'm so excited for the flip. I loved just the chain reaction of things that all just came from Saitama getting annoyed by this thing gooping on into its head. And all the Psychos transformations just crazy. As I said, it's like things that were carefully doled out as hype in other shonen series. This series just manages to spam the dopamine button. I can't think of a better way to put it than that. Okay, that's all for now. Bye-bye.